know what it means for the men's team and the women's team, and of course the people of North London. Why is the North London derby so special?
Yeah, I mean, having been to them, I mean, when I was playing for Arsenal, the Tottenham women's team were in the leagues below. Now, you know, in the WSL, Arsenal are in 4th, Tottenham are in 5th, so there's that rivalry. I think, you know, these two sides, they often just battle who can finish higher above each other, don't they? They're not focusing on even the league. They're just thinking, we need to finish above them. And to be honest, of all the atmospheres I've been in, Arsenal-Tottenham is definitely one of the most intense environments. I mean, you're talking police escorts from Highbury and Islington train station. You know, the fans are going along with the horses and all that. And there's not an atmosphere quite like it, to be honest. My dad's a Gooner, so I've been to a number over the years, and the feeling, like the fans, they just love it so much. And, you know, for me, I've been to a lot of places all over the world and been part of a lot of rivalries, and this one's definitely up there.
We've just had a Wolves West Brom on there. We had Alfreton Town versus Mansfield Town. Keep these coming in. I love all of these, by the way. So you talk about the North London derby there, but you've never made any secret the fact that you're a Manchester United fan. What about the Manchester derby? How does that compare?
Do you know what? For me, I've always felt like Liverpool were our biggest rivals. And then growing up, Man United fan and Arsenal, obviously proximity of Arsenal being in London compared to Man United, but I've always felt like they were our rivals. And some people will say, oh, you know, not anymore. I still feel the same. You know, my dad's a Gooner, so sometimes we'd go days without talking to each other. I loved playing for Arsenal. I spent 12 amazing years at that football club, but I, you know, breathe, wear my heart on my sleeve, eat, sleep, breathe Manchester United. So when I look at rivalries, I think because Manchester City have only kind of become that way in the last 10 years, maybe if I lived in Manchester, I might feel a little bit differently, but I've always felt like Liverpool were more of our rivals. And I've always felt like Arsenal, you know, growing up with the battles that Arsenal and Man United had with Arsene Wenger and Sir Alex and Vieira and Keane and those types of eras, they were my favourite times. But I think, you know, when I look at globally, you know, I played at Juventus, Torino. They were unbelievable. I lived in Cyprus where, you know, Apollon are playing Apoel and the games are getting abandoned because fans are throwing flames on the pitch. You know, and when I played for
obviously we don't like to see, but I can see what you mean. That kind of does make it sound, well, much more fierce.
No, it is. And you look at, like, even in the Netherlands, you know, Feyenoord in Rotterdam, like, you see that one bridge all the fans come across, like, there is this hostility there. And I think when you look at, like, when I played for Espanyol, I used to want to go and watch Barcelona play, and I made the mistake of posting a picture of myself at Camp Nou, and it was like, oh, I completely forgot that was an inspiration, because obviously it was during the time when Busquets, Messi, you know, and Iniesta were at Barca. I wanted to go to every single game. So then I just used to go and didn't post about it. Oh, no. Because it was almost like, you know, the Espanyol fans, I had to, it was kind of naive of me to think that wasn't a thing. But at the same time, like, I understood, you know, I'm an Espanyol player and I've gone to see Barcelona play and the fans didn't like it, and I get it.
I've known players who've played for Genoa and Sampdoria and their families, and there's certain restaurants in Genoa who are for, like, Sampdoria players can go there, Genoa players can't, and vice versa. When they first go there, they often make the mistake of doing that. So it's fierce all around the world, isn't it? There's a few there. I've seen some in Newcastle for quite a few people. There's one on the screen now. Loads for Portsmouth and Southampton as well. And Old Firm, definitely. Loads for the Old Firm. We know how fierce that is. But what actually makes a derby stand out from the rest? You've talked there about police escorts. Because from a fan's point of view, it's that as soon as the fixtures come out, you look for it, and you either look forward, stroke dread it for weeks, maybe even months in advance of that game. They are special, aren't they?
Yeah, and it also depends on how well the team's doing in the league, doesn't it? I mean, Manchester United of late, even when they've been underperforming, they seem to do well at the Etihad. They seem to do OK against Manchester City when I least would like to play against them. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I wish we weren't playing against them this weekend.
Liverpool a few weeks ago as well.
Absolutely. Like, I predicted on this show, didn't I, with you? I said to the fan, we're going to win head and heart. I can't back against Man United. I'm not biased, but I feel like to sit on here and say, oh, you know, we're going to lose against Liverpool, that goes against what I believe in. But I think what makes a good rivalry and a good feeling is sometimes proximity. But then again, you look at Everton-Liverpool, they've almost had a friendly rivalry over the years, haven't they? Their households are split. We've seen at Anfield where fans of Everton are sitting in the stands with. Do you remember there was that time where they all
it was
shared?
I think the friendly derby was how it was once.
And I don't think it's like that anymore, but I kind of like that because there are households that are split. There are some people that support Arsenal and Tottenham, but it's like a religion, isn't it? You know, my dad supports Arsenal, and they're like, Jeff, how did this even happen? That she supports Man United, but my uncle took me to a Man United game when I was 5. I fell in love with Eric Cantona. The rest is history. Yeah. They tried to change me at Arsenal all the time. I used to clean like Mark Overmars' boots, Dennis Bergkamp, is my favourite player ever outside of Man United, apart from Cristiano Ronaldo, as you know. But yeah, like, they used to try and change me all the time, meet the players, but you can't change your team. And any ex-player will tell you, like, people say to me, I'd love to have ended my career at Man United, Tom. They announced they had a women's team the day I signed for Juventus. I'd have loved to have ended my career. I used to have dreams of playing at Old Trafford and playing for Man United, and they never had a women's team then. So, but a lot of male players support teams. You know, Darren Bent supports Arsenal. He played for Tottenham. Yeah. Doesn't mean you don't want to win.
Pickford makes no secret of it. They never do. Shearer didn't before he went back to Newcastle as well. Right.